Do you remember a time when gaming wasn't as complex as today? When a company branched out from their usual game style and created a game that would forever have us wanting more as time went on? Only to be let down for almost a decade as Steam got zero support. Does this game ring a bell by chance? Well, if not, let's reimagine Fallout 3.
I'm hungry, and that stupid robot destroyed the cake. Give me that sweet roll you got from Old Lady Palmer. Mrs. Palmer said I didn't have to share. Who's talking about sharing, moron? I want the whole thing. Now, are you gonna give me that sweet roll, or am I gonna have to give you a knuckle sandwich? Oh, yeah? We'll see about that.
Do you remember this scene? Dealing with Butch for the first time? How did it make you feel? Personally, I didn't like him, and I really didn't know what to make of him. What about on your 16th birthday, where you go to take the goat for the first time to figure out what you're going to do with for the rest of your life, only to find that Butch is harassing your best friend? Yeah, it was pretty personal for me too.
Because your daddy is the overseer? Yeah? What do you want? None of your business, kid. Get out of here before you get hurt. If you mess with the tunnel snakes, you're asking for it. Got me? Maybe you're right. We can deal with her later. Come on, tunnel snake.
You know, at this point in the game, you've only spent about 20 or so minutes, and you already have one of the biggest impressions on a character. And not only that, he gives you one of the hardest decisions you're going to make early on in the game. Did you save his mom? Did you let her die? Honestly, I don't know which one I've chosen more at this point, because I have sadly done both many times.
What's happening? Stop it! Look out! What's happening?
We did it! My mom's gonna be okay! You're the best friend I've ever had, man! Hey, I know it isn't much, but I want you to have my tunnel snake's jacket. Go ahead, take it.
Does any of this feel nostalgic to you? Because if it does, just remember, this is only the first 30 to maybe an hour, if you truly took your time, of the game. We haven't even left the vault yet. And now that we've left the vault, I want you to picture the first time you stepped outside and you got blinded by everything around you, and then you just noticed the vast landscape around you that you had no idea what you were in for. Do you remember that feeling the first time you ever did that? I don't think a Fallout game has done that since Fallout 3 for me. One of the first places you're going to visit once you've left the vault is Megaton. It's a city built around a nuclear bomb. And might I add, it's still active, by the way. And if you have the levels, you can actually arm it. Yeah, I know. And people have grown their entire lives around it.
So welcome to Megaton. Just holler if you need something.
Of course, we have to talk about the journey to finding your father, who, like yourself, escapes from the vault in search of something that will change the course of history. Along the way, you meet many interesting people and factions. My personal favorite, of course, the Brotherhood of Steel.
Name's Paladin Bale. What do you need, civilian? I can see you're trying to appeal to my good nature. Pity for you I don't have one. I'll give you this one for free. We use our big guns to kill big super mutants, so people like you can sleep at night.
Another faction I have a very fond opinion of is the Brotherhood Outcast. I think they do a better job at preserving the technology pre-war than the Brotherhood of Steel does. Also, I just love the way their armor looks. If there's one faction in Fallout 3 that I truly wish I got to spend more time with, that would probably be the Enclave. One of the most interesting factions that doesn't truly get the spotlight they deserve, because of course they are the enemy in the main campaign. Now, I do like that during the DLC you do spend a lot more time attacking them, but I would love to be able to play alongside them, as I do find them a very interesting faction, and I do tend to feel that they might be right on some things. Not all, don't call me crazy. One thing about Fallout that never ceases to amaze me is just how much they don't pull their punches. I know a lot of games, they kind of hold your hand a little bit, but then there's Fallout 3. Your mom dies in the opening scene. I mean, it can't really get that much more brutal. Once the initial release of Fallout 3 was over, and most of the audience had beaten the game, that's when mods started to come around. As someone who could never imagine affording a gaming PC back then, I spent most of my younger days watching YouTube videos on mods such as the Enclave Commander mod, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, was one of the coolest ideas back in the day. And it made me think a lot about the game itself and why you as the Vault Dweller built all these connections only to be so limited to your companions. Another thing that made me really think about the game and wonder why is why did they do games for Windows Live? That was one of the biggest absolute annoyances on PC. And I can't tell you any time I wanted to play Fallout 3 that I didn't spend at least 2 hours troubleshooting just to get it to work. But thankfully, Steam has come out with a fix. But with it being almost 20 years later, I just don't see it being a big issue anymore, as I think most people that wanted to play Fallout 3 for all those years in mod have honestly moved on to better and bigger games, such as Fallout 4, even Skyrim with its 17 re-releases. Fallout 3 has always been the game I can return to and thoroughly enjoy. Although the combat, it's not the best. But there are plenty of mods to overhaul your experience. So, on that note, I do believe it is still a very fun game to play, as I do find myself being able to relive my early days in the game, wishing I could go back and replay it for the first time and just appreciate how good of a game it truly was. For me, the game is so good that I think even today I could probably sit and throw away 24 hours without even skipping a beat. I still find this to be my #1 story game, which I know there have been many games that have an amazing story, but Fallout 3 will always be that one game that when I beat the campaign, I still want to cry, even though I never have. Because for me, it was just one of those games that was so touching, and I just truly enjoyed it. Fallout 3 is a game that once I look at it, I'm just reminded of how much modern games have let us down. This game was made for the gamer, and it was made with love and ambition. And it does show when you play through this game. Sure, the game did nothing truly groundbreaking, but it had one of the best campaigns. Never thought I would play a video game and get so emotionally tied to all the characters. The way you just get close to them, and then they seemingly are taken away from you. It is a bit harsh. Liberty Prime is a big example of the type of character I would follow into battle every day. So, with that said, I still haven't spoiled most of the game to you, as I don't want to spoil the entire game. I know I've kind of slipped on a couple major key things, but even with that said, there is so much going on in the campaign that you still wouldn't understand fully what's going on, because that's just how much detail they put into this campaign. And I do have to ask, guys, has everyone here actually played Fallout 3? Are you one of those few unlucky people almost 2 decades later that still never played the game? If so, I highly, highly recommend that you go back and play. You won't regret it, I promise you. So, with all that said, let's get to the rating, because I know this is a longer video. So, given the combat issues, given every flaw that I've ever experienced in this game, I would still give it a 9.5. Yes, a 9.5. If we based it solely on the campaign alone, I could honestly give this game a 10 out of 10. But I have to knock at least a half point off.
party saloon in Megaton.
So I hope you guys enjoyed my rant on Fallout 3. This one is constantly on my Steam shelf, and every time I look at it, I just get that urge to once again spend 6 hours modding and then replaying the entire game over. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I have. So if you did, please be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel to continue supporting these videos, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified immediately of any and all channel uploads. And on that note, I'll see you guys next week.